is happening at the national level that I would like to bring to your attention. You must have seen the report or heard the story, but I still would like if you and I can talk about it. And so I'm going to, give you the details, the facts, and I'll hear your thoughts on all of the issues raised on the show. All right, so welcome. For those of you just joining us, welcome. Now, you would agree with me, because we have talked about it on the show, that Nigeria is going through a dire situation when it comes to the economy. And not just Nigeria, the world, to some extent is facing some economic difficulties, partly due to the current violent situation in the Gaza Strip, talking about the Russia-Ukrainian war. All of that stuff has affected the economy some way or the other. Either food prices or oil prices, it's been affected. And Nigeria has been badly affected by this economic situation. For instance, our Naira continues to do not so well against foreign currencies. And so, because we are import reliant, a lot of the things that we use have become too expensive or very expensive for the common man. And because these things are expensive, even the things that we produce locally are also expensive, because the producers are also consumers of the foreign items that we bring into the country. Inflation is up there. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. And it's a sad thing, because even our main source of revenue, which is the oil and gas, is not doing very well. You must have seen the reports today that Dangote's refinery, alongside other refineries, have not yet, been supplied crude by, the NNPCL, because the country is not doing so well in that department. And when subsidy was removed not necessarily by this administration. Remember, they had not budgeted for subsidy beyond June 2023. However, when the president was sworn into office, he made a statement, and that made it look like an official removal of subsidy, and that has somehow also affected the economic state of the country. It has. And of course, the unification of the foreign exchange sector, it has affected us. Is it a good policy? Maybe in the long run, I do not know. However, we have been told by the president on more than one occasion that we have to tighten our belts. It's time for austerity. We have to tighten our economic belt and, sacrifice and believe that the future will be great. So we were told. Because every one time we complain, oh no, we can't take it anymore. And they said, like the former governor would say, melembe, melembe. No, calm down. Small. We'll get there. Just sacrifice. You're sacrificing for the future of the country, so that our children and our children's children will have a Nigeria to live in, and not like so many who have left and are now, trying to set up a structure in foreign countries. That's what we were told. And so it was painful. It was indeed, when the story broke that legislators wanted to get SUV cars with each costing somewhere around the region of 160 above, thereabout, 160 million naira. Times it by the number of legislators that we have. I think in total it's 469 thereabout, if my mathematics is right. You times it by that number, and then you wonder, are we really fastening our not seat belts now, our economic belts? Are we really doing that? Are we really making sacrifices? They say, oh no, we will cut down the cost of governance. And then I I think sometimes, and sorry if I think too deeply, because I feel that certain appointments have been duplicated. For instance, why do we need the spokesperson of the president when we have a minister for information? I'm just asking. I'm wondering, because I'm of the belief that the minister of information is supposed to inform us about everything happening in the presidency. Okay. All right. Slow down. But that's not even where I'm going to. So while we're still trying to recover from the fact that the House of Reps have, taken delivery of the SUVs, and the senators, I think they were expecting theirs this week. I don't know if they've gotten it. The Rivers drama, suppressed a lot of the news that, was out there. I'll have to find out. While we're still trying to recover from that, we got another news 2 days ago that there will be a supplementary budget. Yes, we're told that there will be a supplementary budget. The first question I asked is, what month are we in? November. In a couple of days' time, we will be in 2024. Why don't we wait for a new economic calendar and we start from January? Because I do understand that the appropriation bill has been passed to I think it's been passed. I need to rejig my memory right now. But you know how it has been done in recent times. By January we would start a new budget cycle. So why not wait for that? So while I was asking myself all of the questions, remember the supplementary budget is 2.176 billion naira. 2.176. Did I say billion? I correct myself now. 2.176 trillion naira. That's like almost a quarter of the 2023 budget. And some of the things that we are budgeting for in the supplementary budget was also budgeted for in the 2023 budget. So one would wonder why, maybe because of the increase in, how do I put it now? The naira to the foreign currencies, because of how it is right now. Maybe that's the reason why some of these things are budgeted for again. However, okay, it's fine. They have 2.176 trillion naira that they want to pass as supplementary budget. I do agree. I mean, wonderful. It's fine. The government would have to run, right? However, let's look at some of the things that they say they want to use the money for. So they want to use it for defense, for agricultural activities, for emergencies. Their money set aside for emergencies. Maybe if the dollar rises yet again against the naira, those monies will be employed. They also want to use it for let's see now. I need to be sure. They did a lot of things. They sent money to the office of the NSA. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security will get 200 billion naira, for instance. The Ministry of Housing will get 100 billion naira. Department of State Services will get 49 billion naira, while the FCTA gets 100 billion naira. The Ministry of Defense, like I mentioned earlier, will get 476.5 billion naira. The Ministry of Works will get 300 billion naira. Remember, they're trying to fix all the federal roads in Nigeria. I know Umayyah has been talking really tough, and there is now the KPI for the ministers. Remember, the president said any underperforming minister will leave after a certain period. So there are other things that they want to use the money for. There is the service-wide vote, which I talked about, emergencies. It's just set aside for emergencies. And that one is taking about 615 billion naira. It's taking the lion's share, as a matter of fact. So when you look at all of these things, okay, maybe indeed they want to, make the country kick into some good energy for the betterment of you and I. There is also some welfare schemes that they want to pay for with that money as well. But I do not understand the part where certain amounts were budgeted for the renovation of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's official residence and that of Vice President Kashim Shettima in Lagos. I don't understand that part. Why do we need to renovate? Is the roof falling? Is the water leaking? And even if the roof and the water, the roof is falling and the water is leaking, would it cost 7 billion naira for both houses to be renovated? I'm wondering, I'm asking, like I said, I'm throwing the facts to you, and then I like to get your thoughts, then I like us to talk for development. 7 billion naira. We've been told to fasten our economic belt, but is it looking like that? And this is a very silent question. It's not about whether you're APC or PDP or Labour Party. That's not what. Nah. Because, have you tried going to the market recently? It's quality conversation, I should say. Your experiences, quality conversation. but then again, that's not where it ends. The First Lady is supposed to get a 1.5 billion naira for vehicles, just like, and now I understand when the legislators came out and said, why are you people doing like this? Why are you people making it look like we are the only ones who have been buying vehicles? And then they pointed at the executive, and look at it now. Just like the legislators, the First Lady will be getting SUVs to the tune of 1.5 billion naira. So I don't want to think that she wants to buy an aeroplane for a vehicle. So there will be vehicles for she and maybe the people working in a team. Yeah, so if you do 160 million thereabout for an SUV and then you multiply it, then you get to, so maybe around 10 SUVs thereabout, so that the ministry, pardon me to say that, the ministry of the First Lady can work. But yet again, that's not where it stops. There is also the budgeting of 2.9 billion naira for the replacement of vehicles that are not working very well at the State House. That's at the Villa. 2.9 billion naira. So that's like what? 20 SUVs? Thereabout? Yeah, 20 SUVs. The question in my head is, I do think we need this. Like the legislators have argued, I'm going to, argue like they've argued. I do think we need to buy these guys these cars. They need to work and work efficiently. I do think so. But is it the right time? Is it the right time? Can the poorly performing vehicles at the State House not be repaired? Can we not have some of these companies come in with parts and repair these vehicles for a cheaper rate? I'm just asking. I'm a citizen who's just asking questions. I mean no trouble. I love peace. But I want to talk for development, and I hope you want to engage me in that conversation. Actually, I hope so. So what's your take? Supplementary budget. I've broken it down for you. Maybe I should also mention, since this is hard facts, that it was also reported that the government is seeking an approval from the Senate to borrow $7.8 billion and 100 million euros. And according to the president, it is part of the 20. But this is not the only money that will be coming in. The president also mentioned that the World Bank and the African Development Bank have promised to help Nigeria go through tough times by, I want to believe it's a loan to the tune of $2 billion from the World Bank and $1 billion from the African Development Bank. And, this will further increase our debt profile, I should remind you. I'm just going to quote the president as seen on Daily Trust. He said, the Senate is invited to note the following, that the removal of fuel subsidy and its impact on the economy in the country, African Development Bank, AFDB, and the World Bank, WBG, have indicated interest to assist the country in mitigating the economic shocks, and recent reforms with a sum of $1 billion and $2 billion respectively, in addition to the Federal Executive Council approved 2022-2024 external borrowing plan. So I want to believe it's a loan. So consequently, the required approval is in the sum of, he mentioned it, I've mentioned it before, $7.8 billion and 100 million euros. So I'm going to open the phone lines. I'm done talking. I've been talking for quite a long time because I'm passionate about this. The president said that a foreign loan has become necessary to bridge the financial gap and return the economic activities of the country to normalcy. The funds, he said, would be used to develop infrastructure, agriculture, health, education, water supply, security, and employment, as well as financial management reforms. So the question then is, yet again, should we be buying SUVs and renovating houses at this time in the country's history, where we're going through an economic crisis? And this economic crisis is just 3 years apart from when we had the COVID-19 economic crisis. 25 minutes gone past the hour. It's time for me to open the phone lines. I'm done talking really. So I'm just going to listen to your views. I've given you the facts. Let's get your thoughts then. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. We're live on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH. We're live on YouTube, Nigeria Info PH. And we're live on X, or active on X, Nigeria Info PH. You can drop your WhatsApp messages. 0809 030 6416. Let's take some messages now. This one says, my heart bleeds for my dear country, Nigeria, a country that has abundant natural resources, is not living on perpetual borrowing at the expense of the ordinary citizens, borrowing for frivolities. God is watching. You can't say all of it is frivolity. I mentioned to you defense, agriculture, housing, works. I mentioned all these things now, so you can't say they're frivolities. But then again, there's the renovation of the governor, the president's and the vice president's house, and buying 1.6 billion naira vehicle for the first lady. This one says, hello Canada, I like what is playing out in Nigeria currently. The borrowing to spend on frivolities is very good. We got what we deserve. I hope by 2027 we will be alive to vote wisely. We saw it all yet chose the wrong part. Now morning. And Bernard from Port Harcourt. All right, I've got Clinton, and Clinton is calling from Bori. Clinton, welcome quickly. Let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, I'll be very quick.
All right then.
There's no country in the world that does not borrow, Canada.
Yeah, true.
But the most important thing is that what are you borrowing for? That is what is important to us as Nigerians. That's what we need to know. Because if you're borrowing to buy SUVs, Canada, Nigerians will react. Because given the current time we find ourselves, the current economic crisis we are facing in this country, and you're borrowing to buy SUVs, Canada, the economy is down. There are no jobs. But if you borrow to invest in agriculture, Nigerians will understand, this might invest in the future. But this particular one, Canada, I am not happy about it. I have to state it clearly. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. I've got Emmanuel from Port Harcourt. Emmanuel, welcome on the show.
Yeah, Kalada, good evening.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. I'm very, very happy with what is just happening in this country. Because I wasn't expecting much. I didn't know going to happen because looking at the man at the end of our first, I want to be civil man, because I don't think we understand what the economic time is trying. You will not allow this thing to happen. So you cannot tell me that you ask Nigerians protecting their affairs and you are here doing all sorts of funny things. Like, I don't just get it. What happened to the cars that are there? And what is the office of the president even doing for the country? Who needs to? What is the function of the office of the president? I wish those who say they are starting on a mandate or something, but I pray they are still doing the class, and I pray for it very well. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. See, I don't want it to be a sentimental conversation, please. Can we not do that? Can we remember this is Nigeria, and you and I live in Nigeria? Even if you're listening from outside Nigeria, Nigeria still belongs to you one way or the other. I mean, that is your roots. That is where your family tree, started from. So think about it this way. We're looking for solutions. We're looking for development. Do you think this is a great one? I mean, I thought we were in an austerity situation, but does it look like it? Does it look like we're fastening our economic belt? That's what I want us to talk about. Justice from Port Harcourt, welcome. Are you there, Justice?
Yes, Justice, I'm here. Good evening, Canada.
Yeah,
can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear. Let's get to hear your thoughts, please.
Okay, I think they've come with a new slogan, renewed hope, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I think maybe this is the new hope that they are coming up with, buying of SUVs.
Okay.
Because if for me, or my own opinion, not your station opinion, I don't think it's the best thing that they are coming up with, taking loans just for vehicles. And
No. Justice, we can't say they are taking loans just for vehicles. I broke down what the supplementary budget will be for.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least good percentage of the loan is going for vehicles.
We don't even know if the loans will be used. We just know they will spend money for vehicles. Let's leave it at that.
Okay, let's leave it like that. Let me not quote wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Making of all these expenses for vehicle, to me, that is the annoying part.
Okay.
Okay. Why spend so much on the office of the First Lady? What is the First Lady really doing much to encourage the economy of this country? I don't see.
Okay.
Okay. Going now to renovation of the presidency and the vice official building in Lagos. Most of the times are they in Lagos? And these people, they have personal buildings, so why not work with their conscience? You have a personal building in Lagos. Why? How many times do you spend night how many times do you spend a day in your official building in Lagos? You always, most of the times, in Abuja or even outside the country. I just wish that they can just feel pains that the citizens, the poor masses are feeling.
All right then. All right, thank you, Justice.
Thank you, my brother. In some day, I would just say the best alternative now is your name, Canada. Moving to Canada.
My name is not Canada. My name is Kalada, not Canada. Wow. I hope social media department they're not listening right now. But Jude, welcome from Jude from Amuma, welcome.
Canada.
Yes, Canada it is. Thank you.
Yeah. With the high level of economic launch in the country, I think that spending 7 billion naira on renovation of their Lagos residence,
official residence,
wasteful. You can live in one house. You can only live in one house at a time.
Okay.
They have the Abuja residences that it is undergoing renovation or will undergo renovation. The Lagos residents wasting 7 billion naira. What are they going to do with this economic launch? Even if the Lagos residents have been there, but this time it's wasteful. Probably, it may be they want to renovate that for their wives and children. That's what I imagine.
Okay.
Because you had him yesterday rule out a rule where the people that should be allowed to enter federal executive meeting, his grown adult son was spotted in a federal executive meeting. Probably they have to transfer them or some of their wives to that place. Otherwise, it's very unnecessary, wasteful.
All right.
We can't afford it this time if they are listening.
All right, then.
We're fastening our economic belt. Can they fasten their own?
All right, then. All right, Jude, thank you very much. Thank you very much. For those of you watching on Facebook, what are you thinking about this? Are you fastening your economic belt? And if you are, do you think the government is reciprocating that gesture? Are they giving you that respect as someone who is fastening his or economic belt? On Facebook, Taminoemi Tom Jack says, it is unfair. We are told to tighten our belts, yet these people are lavishing funds on liabilities instead of investments and favorable policy. It's very sad. Tyson Jonathan, now may the Heavenly Father save and help us. Aguashim Kenneth, how can we continue to do injustice unto ourselves in this manner, for God's sake? What houses and cars that the president, vice president, and first lady does not have? And then you say again, they need to be honest and realistic by telling all Nigerians what they intend to actually use 8.5 billion naira for. All right. Thank you very much. Odegbami Ayodele Michael, I see your message. Zed Jerry, I see your message too, but I can't read them because let's see. Okay, maybe I just cut that part out. He said, we had a choice between Obi, who would help us through these hard times, and the Tinubu government, and they voted this government. See where we are now. Don't forget the presidential yacht. But you see, that was disputed, refuted by the government, that they are not buying any official or presidential yacht, that it was supposed to be for the Navy, but right now they are redirecting that money so that it can be used for student loans. Remember, the student loan scheme will start January 2024. Let's go back to WhatsApp and read some messages there. This one says, any further plan to borrow money in the name of Nigeria will definitely devalue our naira the more. Fidelis Iyayi Elimuwa from Chukucho Eche. Okay. Let's take more messages. And this one says, on the supplementary budget, it is just so pathetic, Canada. Our leaders are so heartless. In the first place, there is no office of the First Lady in the Constitution. So why the humongous budget for the First Lady? They are using borrowed state resources to renovate their personal homes and vehicles because they find themselves in government. Our economy is at the brink of death, and yet no one is thinking Nigerians. Why? AJ from Rumosi. But AJ, this is on a lighter note. I know this is hard facts, but let's joke a little. You know what they say about a man marrying a woman? They become one, right? So if you're voting in the president, you're voting in the partner as well. So there is indirectly. I'm just joking. But let's move on. This one says, it is unfortunate that present federal government is suffering what I call lack of administration. Confidence in Lebadim from Osuzue Che. Ayasin says, you forgot the presidential yacht. I did not. Like I said, it's not a thing because official statement said that it is for the Navy and that they were redirecting that money once again to the student loan. So if they say they're even if it was for the president and they have now said they're redirecting it, it's not much of a big deal, right? But what do I know? This one says, the way and manner Nigeria's interested in borrowing, if care is not taken, this administration is turning us to a begging nation with rising debt profile. Nigeria's rising debt profile shows the administration is turning us to a begging nation. Owanate Clinton West. But they have said that it is an investment. I read out what the president said. It is to turn the situation around. It is to get Nigeria to a point where it is working. You know, the roads are going to be good. They're going to build infrastructure and all of that. They made promises, yeah, and that's the reason why they are going in for the supplementary budget. But one question I have in my head is, January is around the corner. We would have a new budget cycle. Why did we not wait for the new budget cycle? So all of these things could be, covered by the new budget cycle. But what do I know? Let's go back to the phone line. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. Those are the call numbers. On Facebook, ADRG OKOCC says this is very wrong indeed. The government lacks political will. All right. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp number 0809-030-6416. AJ from Rumusi came back with this, said, in countries where women are presidents, we don't hear about the office of the first man. It only happens in Nigeria. Okay. Good evening, Canada. What do you expect from a country that has no plans to create human capital development rather than for frivolous, selfish interests? It is more like chasing after a rat while your house is on fire. This is a typical example of a leader and lacks ideas to invest in infrastructure, which will even help to keep the country in fast developing track to compete with other countries, while other countries are busy investing on technology, information technology, and more advanced innovation. Our leaders are busy buying cars made by other countries. Yeah, we produce nothing and import toothpick. It's a shame, Canada. Just check it out. Now the First Lady is included in the budget. Which country does that, Canada? Maxwell Ina from Port Harcourt. So there's something that I'm now thinking. Could it be the reporters wrong? Could it be we did not see well? I'm wondering. Oh, my goodness. But I've got John, and John is calling from Port Harcourt, but Benefactor from Port Harcourt that called in earlier, so I'm going to start with Benefactor. Oh, sorry about that. John, welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, John, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, John. Let's talk, please.
Yeah, believe me, while you are reading the headline, two things automatically happen to me. I'm a cab driver. As you were reading it, I feel like crying. The next thing was, I feel like turning off my radio. And somebody someday will tell me that this country will be better. With all this plan, where are we going? Just like you said, next is coming. We have less than 3 months to end the year, and you're going inside the month that has 2 months, a year that has 2 months to go. Why are we like this?
All right. So, all right. Thank you very much, John. Thank you. I'm wondering, as you're wondering, why we are like this. But if you are on X, formerly Twitter, if you go to Nigeria Info PH, you would see how there is an image, I think 2 images actually, that we posted under these very conversations. Supplementary budget, President, VP, First Lady to use 8.5 billion naira for houses and cars. So you would see how it is broken down. For instance, State House, what they will buy: purchase of SUV vehicles, replacement of operational pool vehicles, renovation of residential quarters for Mr. President, renovation of Aguda House. All of these things are written there. You would see purchase of official vehicles for the office of the First Lady. You would now see another part where it said Federal Capital Territory Administration. They broke it down as well. So you see some of the ways the money will be used. Promise is calling from Rumodomai. Promise, welcome on the show.
My brother, I want to ask, why should we be buying SUV cars when our electricity tariff increases every day? Why should we be buying SUV cars when these questions I ask myself when I hear it's like this. Please,
with a kind of political repentance. Our leaders, please, they need to come back home and know that in the nearest future, the future of our youth will be at stake if they don't do something. They continue buying these SUV cars in the name of I am the first lady, in the name of I am this or that. My brother, you are mortgaging the future of the youth of this country. Thank you. Promise for Rodumaya.
All right, thank you very much. Promise from Rodumaya. Keep those calls coming in. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. Let's get your thoughts. And on Facebook, we're live. Drop your comments there. On X, we are active. Like I said, we've got 2 images breaking down how the supplementary budget will be used. And on YouTube, we're live as well, Nigeria N8.5bn. But I've got Daniel, and Daniel is calling me from Transamadi. Let's take a listen to what Daniel would say. Daniel, welcome.
Yeah, Kalada, good evening.
Good evening.
For me, Kalada, sometimes I just think the more you think or talk about Nigerian problem, the more headache you have.
Oh, really?
I ask a question. 8.5 billion, do you know how many Nigerians if you take out of street? And every year the return you will have when you have industry with that money. That is what leadership is all about. Leadership is not how I will borrow money to spend. Leadership is that what am I going to do so that you take people out of the street. People will become useful to the country which you are governing. That is the difference between the country who is thinking about their citizens and the country who are there for luxury. And what surprises me that you see a man in Nigeria that is 70 years, 80 years, you still want a luxury life. I don't get it. I'm not the one who owns your life. But I believe you are close to your God. And you are still in a luxury mood. I'm not surprised. It is a continuum of the kind of leader we have over the years. A leader who doesn't think about production, you go and borrow money for luxury. It's only Nigeria that think in that direction. And what is the end of that? That is calamity. We're already in a troubled economy. I will never, but I don't believe it in 2015 that I will want to wake up and buy fuel for 600. I didn't believe that.
All right.
And I will not be surprised tomorrow we can buy fuel for 1,200 or even 1,500. I will not be surprised. Because that is the way we're going. We have leaders who go and borrow money for consumption, for their own luxury. Not even to develop or make sure they have a country that runs with machine of production. They're not thinking in that direction. So for me, I think of or even to even 100%. That is where we are going to.
All right.
There's no too magic about it.
All right, then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you for your time. Thank you for what you've shared with us. But I'd like to hear from you. Do keep those calls coming in. Are you satisfied with how the government is going about spending, given the fact that you have tightened your belt? And what do I mean by tightened your belt? Now, for many of you, what you used to spend before, if you used to buy 1,000 things, you can no longer buy 1,000 things. What you buy now would be like 100 things, right? And so you have tightened your belt. You've, tightened your economic belt. But hey, we're buying SUVs and we're renovating houses. And I say we because the government is for the people, by the people, and of the people. I've got Odima from Abai Road. Odima, welcome on the show. Let's get your thoughts. Odima, are you there?
Yeah, good evening or good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Kalada, the supplementary budget by and the President Tinubu, there is no justification for it. Even if they are buying only one SUV, even if they are building only one building, there is no justification for it. Considering the economic situation in Nigeria today, you cannot borrow money today to buy one, even if it's one SUV in Calabar. It shows that Tinubu presidency and APC have no good intentions for Nigerians.
Are you say? Are you?
Alleviate the poverty that is happening today.
Odima, wait now.
They continue the same way what Buhari did for 8 years.
Odima.
It's unfortunate. Quite unfortunate. They told us when APC was campaigning, they told us that if Tinubu was to come, he would reduce the cost of governance. Today you have 49 ministers.
48
each minister has 5 cars, and those 5 cars are SUVs. Calculate how much it is. So these people are just out to ruin Nigerians. They just out to do frivolity. Anything that will make them happy, not what will make Nigerians happy.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Thank you very
much.
much.
I'm concerned, it's unfortunate.
Thank you very much, Odima. Now, before I get into what I want to say, in reaction to what Odima said, Fatigun Oluwa Kayode says, I don't see anything wrong in it. He's talking about the spending. He does not see anything wrong in it. So yeah. So let's calm down now. Now, the money will not be spent only on buying SUVs and renovating houses. Remember, the total money is about 2.1 plus trillion naira, and what the government will be using for the renovation of the houses for the vice president and the president is somewhere around the region of 7 billion. Far cry from the entire trillion, 2-point-something trillion naira, right? So you can't say all of the money will be used for frivolities. I disagree with that statement. However, we are saying even though it's just 7 billion naira, it could somehow impact the economy, that you and I have tightened our seat belts or our economic belt because of that economy. And I'm also saying that 1.5 billion naira for SUVs for the first lady, is it something that we need at this time? I'm not against it, but I'm about the timing. There's also the 2.6 billion naira that will be used for buying new vehicles to replace vehicles that are not doing very well, that are not operating optimally. And I'm asking the question, is it the right timing? So what do you make of the expenses of the government, given your economic belt being tightened? You're fastening your economic belt. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. What are your thoughts? Remember, we're live on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH. I'd like you to drop your comments there as well if you can. And we're active on X, where I have posted some of the breakdown on how that money will be used. All right, I want to get your thoughts. I really want to hear from you. I've got Christian. Oh, I've got Chris. And Chris is calling me from Remo Biakani. All right, let's get to Chris. Chris, welcome on the show. What is on your mind?
Yes, Kalana, good evening.
Yeah, greetings. Welcome.
Yeah, for me, I think they should buy this car. After all, I mean, you're not going to trek to do this.
Exactly.
We will die. These Nigerians, you see, they are not watering for. I'm telling you. These people, they will go to this in the evening, drink 5 of beer, bottles of beer. When you see them coming here, you think they are not going to trek to do all of that.
Okay.
It's necessary. And if they don't buy, which people will buy those cars? Is it me and you?
Okay.
Okay. That is how it is done in every country. So our own will not be an exception. And besides, we say we are rich. So why would we be buying a small Toyota for...
Chris, are we rich?
Buying a small motor will not even make poverty to stop.
Okay. All right then.
So they should buy it and buy. It's for their own use. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Chris. We have one alternate view. Keno is calling from Ajib. Keno, welcome.
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Kalada.
Good afternoon, it is. Welcome. Let's talk.
Good afternoon, yeah. Yeah, you asked specific question, if the government is doing enough or rather spending wisely at this point in time in our economy.
Yeah.
The answer is specifically no. They are not spending wisely. The truth of the matter is that a similar situation happened, I think, when Obasanjo was the head of state in the late 70s. And he came up with something called austerity measures then. And the government had to cut down, started with himself. He reduced the cost of governance. I think they had luxury vehicles, Benz limousines, Mercedes-Benz limousines. They had to take all that out and bought Peugeot cars. They moved all those luxurious cars from government. But here we are. These people are here buying brand new SUVs, as if there's nothing happening in the country. People are going through hardship. If you want the country to progress, you need to cut down a lot of things. Those SUVs, they cost a lot of money to
purchase,
run them, fuel them, and all that.
Yeah.
And they're spending a lot of money recklessly. In fact, I don't think these present politicians are even serious about democracy in this nation.
All right, then. All right. Can I have got...
After Obasanjo left,
you
remember what happened to PN and the rest of them? They came in and they started buying luxurious things, and the ministry had to come back again. Do they want the ministry to come back? Is that what we're waiting for?
All right. Thank you, Kenu. I've got to go. I've got to go now. I've got to go. Thank you. Obed, turn off your radio.
Good evening, Kalada.
Yeah, greetings, Obed from Adajord. Welcome.
Yes, Kalada, I think Nigerians should know. I think we are not surprised on what is happening because it was expected. And as much as I know that when it comes to spending and living lavishly, Nigerian leaders are number one. Legislature, of course, they are among the highest paid legislature. You understand? So that is just the whole thing. So it's not for actually, they are not actually coming to better your life, okay? Yes, your life will only be better if when you determine when our life will be better.
Are you there, Obed?
Hello?
I can hear you. Conclude,
yes,
please.
They are coming to be able to enjoy those things that they have not enjoyed before, right? So that's what they are there for. Because you cannot tell me in a country where people, majority of us are asked to sacrifice, and they all, many even resorted into trekking as a result of hike in transportation, and our leaders are not thinking on the way how to take Nigeria out of this poverty we find ourselves. But rather, you are appropriating funds, especially the office of First Lady. I don't think that office is backed by Constitution. The last administration, we did not see anything like that. So I am surprised that a man who transformed Lagos is coming back and bringing back office of First Lady.
All right. Sorry about that. And that's how far we can go in terms of phone calls. So I can read some more messages. I've got a lot of messages on Facebook. Let's see. Prince Chidike Amadi says, this is a matter of putting our economy into serious tensions. I think Mr. President should look at the suffering and have a rethink. Emmanuel Savior Ezekiel says, please, I wish to ask, what other renovations are we talking about here? Was it not the same vice president quarters that 500 million was reported or rumored to have been used in renovating just the gateman quarters alone under Buhari's regime? And of what importance, I keep asking, is the so-called office of the First Lady to a proper governance in Nigeria? Questions. But then something occurred to me while Obed Chima was speaking. He mentioned the legislators, and I remember starting with the legislators. And I'm, if we were to say, oh, President, see, we like all these other parts of your supplementary budget, but you see these other ones here, and here, we don't like them. We would not be able to, tell him, because the people who are representing us, they have already taken delivery of their own vehicles. So how can they now speak on behalf of the people. I'm just saying. I mean, they're the ones who think, I mean, it's okay for the first lady to get us to get, SUVs. There are also people who think it's okay, for us to replace vehicles that are not working well at the State House. I mean, yet again, you want your president to work in a very conducive environment. I mean, trust me, if my job environment was not conducive enough, I don't think you and I will be having a proper conversation. But Chidioke Ukala says, this government is not interested in the welfare of the citizens. Tinubu is mindless of our position and stance. It is actually his son. Joshua Harris says, God, okay, I'm not reading that one. I'm not reading the other one as well. Ruben Sampson says, don't expect anything from politicians who share money during elections. When they win, they'll show you Shege Aton. Okay, Shege Aton. Oh, okay. Young Philip AK, I thought First Lady said they are not after Nigeria's money, that they already have money. So many. Renovation of houses, so not for the construction of new ones. You can imagine the level of theft that is about to occur. And you forgot to mention the 5 billion that has been budgeted for presidential yacht. Miracle Equa. All right, that's how far we can go. It's time for the news update. And after that, more conversations. And this time we will talk about political structure. What does it mean? Because the former governor says he will defend his political structure. Stay tuned. I am Kalada Kurubatubo.